Meantime, President Trump vowing big tariffs on computer chips unless companies manufacture them in the United States. CNBC's Megan Cassella is live in Washington with that. Megan, good morning.
Hey, Melissa, good morning. So really, for the first time, the president offering us last night a preview of just how high he's looking to lift those tariffs on all imports of semiconductors as soon as sometime this month. Take a listen.
We'll be putting a tariff on of approximately 100% on chips and semiconductors. But if you're building in the United States of America, there's no charge, even though you're building and you're not producing yet in terms of the big numbers of jobs and all of the things that you're building. If you're building, there will be no charge.
So potentially significant exemptions there, guys, especially if any companies even making commitments to build in the U.S., as he later said, will also be excluded. So we do have to see how this is ultimately written. But the list of companies with at least commitments to build here is long, especially after that CHIPS Act rollout last year. That includes Intel, TSMC, IBM, NVIDIA, many, many other big names, all potentially shielded from this move. So a couple notes on these tariffs in the meantime. These would be imposed under Section 232. That requires the Commerce Department to find that semiconductor imports represent a threat to U.S. national security. So I've been told that investigation is expected to wrap up as soon as sometime this month, and tariffs could come very shortly after. So that leaves the big questions now being just how significant any exemptions would be. And then on the other hand, how broadly the tariffs are going to be written and whether, as they could, ultimately include any derivative products such as smartphones or other devices that include semiconductors as well. Guys?
And that's what it sounded like, Megan, this morning, that, for Apple, for instance, they would have an exemption, but there would be some sort of additional levy on those products that use the semiconductors. So is it just semiconductors solely, or do we have an idea as to whether or not in finished products those will face some sort of tax as well?
I think that's going to be the biggest question now after we've heard some of these details from the president. The way that the investigation itself is written, and I've looked at this as they launched it several months ago now. They wrote it so that it could be as broad essentially as they want it to be. It could be any product that includes a semiconductor is also under investigation and ultimately could also face tariffs. That's a very big difference, of course, from being just chips to anything that includes a chip in it, really shaking the entire technology market if they wrote it that way. We don't know that they would go that aggressive. They could sort of reserve that card and say in the beginning it's only going to be about the chips themselves or something to that effect. But we know that they've at least launched the investigation with that in mind, reserving that possibility, which would then be a big change.